Hello, I am Doug Renee, one half of the owners of Fantasy Live, and this is.
I'm Ian Patterson, the other half of the owners of Fantasy Alive.
Um, some people ask us, what is Fantasy Alive? Um, when I come across new people, they ask me what I do, what is LARP? One of the biggest things I usually start with is, have you ever watched the movie Lord of the Rings? If they say no, I go to the Harry Potter, the TV show Vikings, and then it always comes down to, have you ever played D&D? It's hard to explain if they haven't seen any of those across the board, but usually it's like a video game, medieval fantasy, but in real life. And then that's how it starts. How would you explain, Ian?
So I actually go to the same thing. The Lord of the Rings series is really one of the easiest things to go to. I like to say, we're like, those movies, Lord of the Rings? And then almost everybody says yes, because they're pretty out there. I say, okay, well then picture that, but on a slightly lower budget. We're not quite into the millions here yet. So I kind of use that as my go into the whole, like, it's a fantasy world full of elves and magic and big evil things you have to fight. And yeah, that's kind of my go-to for it. I know I have done things like you put foam on piping supplies and hit people in the forest, but I think the Lord of the Rings one is a better version.
Yeah, I do say we fight each other with weapons, and they usually ask, are they real? How do you not get hurt? And then you got to explain the foam part.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, safety first, of course, right?
Uh, so what have you been up to 2020, Ian?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, it's been quite the year for everyone. I think there's a lot of adjustment going on. I have a family. I have a wife and three kids, and so the biggest thing for me was going through school for the kids, trying to figure out how that was going to work. It's like everything sort of closed up at March break, and it was a well, now what? So there was some like ideas of homeschooling. I taught them how to run a play because that's one of the few things I know how to do, and did some things like we tore apart one of our old gaming systems. We had a PS2 that we weren't using, so we pulled it apart and looked at the insides of it just to see what was what and that thing. But then the school system actually managed to get sort of worked out, and they've all been back in school, so that's been nice. But we've had a remarkably good time with this all, actually. So thankfully, we're doing quite all right. But how about you, Doug? How have you been handling this year?
Um, well, like everything, I came home from my last LARP. I went on like a week vacation up north, and everything across basically the world shut down. So over the next few weeks, it was the panic of like, this is real, like this is serious. Um, Missing one or two LARPs in a row, I am not gonna lie, it was like kind of a vacation. It kind of felt okay to take a month or two off of not worrying about stuff. But then, of course, the reality hits. After figuring things out, helping Megan with her new job and her home office, I decided to do a lot of FA stuff, working on, as you know, the new LARP we'll talk about later, getting a lot of stuff, the coins and tags made. That's pretty much what we've been doing, is this a lot of online games, um, and just trying to get through it.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you on that one. That's the online games is how basically all of us now actually meet and talk to each other anymore. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of like adjustment for everyone, and we've had to do the same thing for FA. We've kind of gone from the in-person LARP to suddenly not being able to do the main reason why we actually get together, and so there's been a lot of, well, now what do we do, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things we're going to do in this whole talk, if you will go through and watch everything, will be that we actually go through as many things as we came up with and what we did and how we're doing them and what we're hoping to do with them in the future too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Over the time Ian and I have had our meetings, talks, and it's all been online or phone. And every time it's like, what can we offer? What's the next step? And what's the next step? And we'll be talking about a lot of those things today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think we'll get into this and get into a couple new things here. Sound good?
I think so.
All right.